Hello everyone and welcome to round number 12 of the Oceania Racing League Tier 2 in Bahrain, and I'm joined by J-Man in the comms box.
Yeah, g'day Lindsay. It's good to be back here for another Div 2 race here in Bahrain, and it's good to have you back in the commentary box. It's good to see that you've managed to wake up for this one.
Oh, yeah. Definitely wasn't internet problems last time, you know. The rumour is I slept, so fair enough. Anyway, so who are your picks for this round?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one here. Bahrain, we've seen a lot of close races around here. We've got, does Milan have a qualifying ban? I think he might, considering he's already retired, so that could hurt his chances. But just look at the drivers' standings at the moment. It's very, very tight, as it has been all season. Hudman in the lead on 129 points, and then Kizzy just 7 points behind Sparks, who's the walking wounded at the moment, is what we've heard. He's 2 points further behind on 120. And then DXman and Zonix and Milan follow them closely. So it's going to be very interesting once again. Big race for the championship as we get towards the back end of the season.
Yeah, I definitely think this championship is going to go all the way to the final round. I don't know if you might agree with that, but I think it's too close to get anyone pulling away particularly.
Yes, Hudman has had a really good run of races, but in the last race out in Vegas, we saw a few errors by him in the race that cost him. So we know that he is human. After his 4 race wins that he's had this season, he's looked like unstoppable. But I think it's all game on now, and we saw that Vegas race was incredible. I think incredibly well driven by the leaders Kizzy, Milan and Zonix, and obviously DXman, who had one of the best races I've ever seen him drive in ORL. So yeah, very well deserved from him. And the Constructors' Championship is something I'll quickly run through as well. I'm just watching Spicy do his first lap at this stage. Red Bull have a lead of 48 points over Ferrari, and then Alfa Romeo about 30 more points back. So they're probably the main 3 teams still in contention for that championship. I think Alfa Romeo can still bring it back. They are a fair way behind, but I think they're probably the most likely out of the 2 teams to catch Red Bull, who have a comfortable lead at the moment.
Yeah, sorry, just on a quick side note, MX has put up an announcement saying if Spicy wins, I have to resign as president, so the stakes are high.
Yeah, and Spicy did win Div 1 Vegas, which for the most part was actually quite a good drive from Spicy, but he did get a bit of help from a few incidents and Hudman at the end, so I think he had an apparent engine issue that cost him the win there, as Spicy rounds the final corner. And we'll see what kind of time he'll come up with. It's going to be the first one of the session, and it's not too bad, a 130.5. And this track, probably one of the easier tracks to drive in the game, so we should see the spread pretty close. Sparks on his first lap with a broken ankle goes 131.8. Hopefully he'll improve on that. Banana sets a good time, 130.0.
Yeah, so obviously Banana making his return, that is definitely interesting.
I love you just speaking with a mouthful of food there, but Banana, yeah, it's good to have him back. I'm pretty sure he was the former Williams team principal, so he's back in his old car, which is great to see, and it's a few times starting to come in. Kizzy with the 130.6, so and Kia has absolutely smashed it out of the park. That's more of the lap times we're expecting from Div 2 here today, 129.2. I'm watching Hudman at the moment as he makes his way through the middle sector, the current championship leader. And Kia is in the lead at the moment, but he's had a few struggles, it has to be said, in recent times.
Yeah, just a couple of hiccups here and there, just costing himself some points. I think if we look back to Melbourne, it was pretty rough for him there. Just getting himself tangled up in a little bit too much, I think. Maybe if he just keeps his nose a little bit more clean, he might be able to get himself properly back into this.
Yeah, as we watch Hudman now, Sparks set a much better lap time there, won 29.7. And we'll see how he goes. As I mentioned, he's carrying an injury, so we'll see if that affects him at all or if he works through it. As Hudman crosses the line now, doesn't look like it's going to be up there with the leaders. It's a 130.4 PS Bomber with a 130.5. So pretty close field spread at the moment between third down to 10th, and then Kia and Sparks have a bit of a comfortable advantage to the rest of the field at this stage.
Yeah, I think just the usuals, not having too many problems. Hudman with a bad banker as quickly as Zonix to the line, P2, so pipping his teammate for the moment. 29 low seems to be the target to hit. I think the banker runs in Bahrain are quite low grip, so it can catch out quite a few drivers who have been practicing in higher grip scenarios.
Yeah, and we'll see if a few drivers starting to come back into the pits after their first run, but just having a look to see who might be starting a lap. I think Frosty might be on one, if you want to have a look at that.
Yep. Yeah, I believe he is as he goes downhill through the tricky turn 10. Frosty's had a bit of a up and down season. One track he's really good, and then the next track he has a bit of a off pace. What would your thoughts be with Frosty this season?
Yeah, he's, I think, just got to work on consistency a little bit because he has the pace to compete with those leaders. It's just how often he can show all of his pace. He does tend to struggle on some tracks more than others and get caught up in a few incidents, and he could get held up by his teammate here a little bit going to the final corner. Looks like he's kept out of the way there. Gave him a little bit of slipstream as well, and improves to a 130.1. So yeah, Frosty down in 13th in the Drivers' Championship at the moment. I think that doesn't accurately represent his ability. He definitely has more to show than that. But yeah, hopefully him and his teammate. No, I think it's one of the more underrated driver pairings on the grid. They just haven't been able to maximise performance so far.
Yeah, I think Haas are just, as you said, not maximising what they can do. And I think into this second half of the season is where they're really trying to work on that, and they're going to make a late constructors charge. As sorry, I'm just going to send an invite to Sparks. But yeah, Haas definitely have some work to do, and I'm pretty sure under the guidance of Noah, I think anything's possible. Yeah,
and big out tonight is DXman, last week's race winner, who's only 26 points off the lead in the championship. So him not being there is going to hurt, but it does open up opportunities for quite a few of the drivers. As we've said before, pretty much any driver in the top 10 in Tier 2 has the ability to win a race, which is more than we've seen in previous seasons. As we know, Tier 2 was dominated by Vipermon last season. I think Kizzy might have picked up the odd win or two. So good to see that field spread again, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top tonight, or today.
Yeah, I think Tier 2 is just such a tightly packed grid. I think it's just anybody's game. You're not, if you're betting on Tier 2, you're definitely not going to win every single time, because it's just anything happens every single week.
Yeah, it's good to see. Firestrike now is completing his first lap. Doesn't look to be overly quick. It's a 132.1. I'm sure he'll be able to improve on that one.
Yeah, I think
a few drivers now starting to come out for their second run.
Yeah, I think these second runs are where we'll get more of a gauge of people's pace and where they are actually stacking up in the pecking order. I think those first runs are truly just a slow pace. Just make sure you have a run that can get you somewhere decent on the grid if you don't get a final run in. But with track evolution being so big around this circuit, especially on this game, I think you've really got to focus on pushing in that middle and final run And if you know you're not a person that can't hook up a final run, you've got to really get that second run.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kia's been has had a very good first run there. No one's been able to knock him off just yet. Zonix has gotten to within a tenth, so the drivers from 4th down have a lot of time to make up, and they don't have many chances to do it here. But I'm going to go on board with Banana here to see if he can improve on his 4th place currently as he makes his way through the middle sector, and he's looking pretty neat and tidy through there. Very well practiced for someone who hasn't driven in a while, and he is down by a tenth and a half on his time, so he's going to have to pull something quite special here through the final sector to try and beat his time and challenge above, but I don't think that is going to happen as he makes his run to the line. He will have another chance after this one as he crosses the line. No improvement, unfortunately, for Banana.
Yep, so unfortunate for him. I think the final run is where he's going to hook it up and try keep himself in that top 5. Meanwhile, I'm going to go back to Zonix and the Red Bull as he's making his way through the first sector. Zonix has just been in a shadow recently of Hudman, I think I've found. He's just been sitting there, lingering in the background, picking up some solid points. I think that he has more potential in him for this second half of the season.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Hudman has won 4 races this season, so it's hard to really top that. But Zonix has, I think, shown some incredible pace throughout this season. Vegas, he was absolutely on fire. Him and Milan got a little bit too close towards the end, which probably hurt his chances. I think Zonix just went slightly off there, which could cost him a little bit of time. But yeah, he was clearly, I think, top 2 in race pace for Vegas last week. We saw in Mexico, he won that by an extremely comfortable margin. So I think he doesn't deserve to be in the shadow of any other driver. He's as fast as they come, so I expect nothing less than him competing up the front every week.
Yeah, I think... what is Kia doing? Kia is just went to go cut the corner, then realised he can't, and then turned the other way, and then drifted through the final corner.
Must have made some sort of mistake there as he comes into the pits. So, not many drivers have improved on their second run so far.
As Phoenix, no, I thought he was on a lap, he's not. Who is on a lap? I think there's quite a few on a lap, just none that I can find. Or is everyone on in laps?
I'd say it's improving. I'm having a look at Kizzy at the moment. He's up by about a tenth, but considering where he is at the moment in P13, it's not going to be enough to make an impression on the leaders unless he's pulled something out. And this middle sector has looked pretty solid, so we'll see what kind of split time he has through there. It's, yep, 7 tenths up. That's a much better middle sector.
No!
He's cut the inside of the corner. That is an unusual place to invalidate there by Kizzy, and he was on a great lap, so that's very disappointing for him.
Yeah, normally the car understeers around there. I think maybe he's had quite the opposite. Maybe just hooked it a little bit too much on the curb and it's just created some oversteer into the apex. But looking back to this time last season, he was versing Nubatron for pole and for the win around here. So do you think we might see any sort of shades of that as we come into these final runs and into the race?
Yeah, well, Kizzy hasn't had the best qualifying here so far, but I'm sure we saw he was on a good lap there, so as long as he can hook one up towards the end of the session, he'll be up there and competing. And the thing we've seen from Kizzy in the last couple of races is he hasn't had the pace to lead, unlike what we saw from Zonix and Milan last week, but he just was able to play the strategy absolutely perfectly, and his strategy in Vegas last week was one of the better ones I've seen. He was just sitting behind, didn't really want to make the overtakes until right at the very last moment when he saw his chance, and he got second. So I think Kizzy has developed his racecraft very intelligently, and that's helped him in this championship fight as well.
Yeah, I think he's coming up with somewhat of a variation of your sort of driving style with keeping the nose clean. I think a lot of drivers, I think I like to compliment you on your driving style, and I did a lot to the Div 2 drivers earlier on, and I think a lot of them started to adapt that sort of, try to have good pace, but if you don't, just make the best of what you can do.
Yeah, exactly. It's you never know what opportunity is going to fly your way in a league race, so you never want to be too reckless. You just want to, you don't mind losing a few positions off the start either, because you have the chance to get those back later on. So I think the drivers are starting to learn the race isn't won on the first lap, and you've got plenty of time to make your way through.
Yeah, I think that's what Tier 2 is all about. It's always a bit of a rocky start to the season, but it's more of a development tier, so you can try get up into that Tier 1 sort of area, but I think we found recently Tier 2 has been more competitive just because of the nature of these drivers being so close together as they're trying to work their way up into Tier 1. I think it's just cool to see how the guys find themselves developing over the course of a season.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see, and we'll just have a look because Hudman is just started what should be his final run of the qualifying session. Our championship leader at the moment will be looking to hang on as he's had a little bit of a moment out of turn 2 there, but looks to have kept it relatively intact. He's currently sitting in P9, a bit out of position for where he'd normally like to be. But he's looked a bit twitchy through the start of this lap. He's only just made a gain there. So Hudman maybe not as comfortable on Bahrain as some of the other drivers have been so far. Kia's banker lap is still intact as provisional pole. So Hudman now flying through the second part of the lap. Can he make a solid improvement here?
I think I just saw Hudman's throttle flicker through turn 10.
Yeah, that was... I didn't really catch that one, but... He does seem to be having an interesting lap so far. Alpha 3 went 4th fastest impressively in that Alpha Tauri, so that's pretty competitive from him. Hudman has now gained about 2 tenths, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough. It won't even get him up any positions at the moment unless he can pull something together in the final sector, and he has got a bit of a slipstream from an Aston Martin in front of him, which might be able to propel him a little bit. But the DRS Open now crossing the line, and no position improvement. He did improve by 2 tenths, but Hudman just doesn't look like he has the pace at the moment in this qualifying.
Yeah, definitely intriguing. Maybe he's gone for a very race-natured setup with lower wings, and it's costing him in the end of stability for qualifying. But I don't think that's normally where you go with. Maybe he's trying something, though. But it'll be interesting to see how he can go through the races. Kia 29.1, and right now I'm looking at Sparks as the session has now ended. So this is the crucial part of qualifying. Sparks 4 tenths up in the first sector split as he dives down the hill and into the hairpin of the middle sector. Get this exit wrong and you can very well throw away your final lap as he heads into the most challenging part of the circuit. Turn 10, he has 2 cars in front of him that might cause him some problems here. They're just seemingly getting a bit distracting in front of him, but he took turn 10 quite reasonably, bit wide, but he would have gotten a good exit from it as he's now going to head into sector 3 after these next 2 corners. As there's an Aston Martin in front of him, I don't particularly know, I think it's spicy on AI, so that could cause him some big grief as he is picking up some dirty air, but he will also get a slipstream. But through the final corner, Sparks is so close, the AI really needs to be moving out of the way. It's not, and Sparks is getting held up massively by it. And, oh no. So, will Sparks improve after being completely impeded by the AI? No, he doesn't.
Yeah, but in the meantime, Zonix is up 2 tenths and making his way through the final sector. He looks like he could be able to knock off Kia's time here. Could this be right at the bell, the last driver on a lap? Zonix around the final corner. Kizzy qualified 2nd fastest, but what's Zonix going to do? He's looked fantastic through this lap so far, crossing the line now, and he gets it right on the buzzer. Zonix gets pole position. Kia was on top all session long, but Zonix, with 0 seconds remaining, takes pole position off Kia. That's a fantastic finish by him.
Yeah,
what a session.
That was phenomenal. Zonic's just pulling it out at the last moment. Kia looked to have had it, and it's just slipped away from him as Milan left the session. Yeah, Banana a P4 on his return. Kizzy P3. Unfortunate for Sparks. He was up 4/10, and he ended up a 10th down because he got blocked by Spicy's AI. So that's really unfortunate. Frosty there in P6, and then we have Alpha 3 in P7, Phoenix P8. Spicy gets into the top 10. Hudman, big story, only qualifying P10, so he has some work to do. And then, more notably, Noah also down the grid, same with Milan, but he obviously had a quali ban or something among that nature.
Yep, so the championship is now wide open with Hudman a bit out of position. Kizzy probably has the best opportunity here to nick the championship lead off Hudman. This is going to be a very intriguing race. It's a long one, and Bahrain always offers some great racing and plenty of surprises as well.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, a few drivers trying to find their way through the field with Hudman and Milan, if Milan can even get back into the session. So I'll just quickly invite him. And then you have Sparks in P5, obviously trying to make his way up for the winners. Milan's not even online, so maybe you can try and manage that.
Yeah, hard look.
Yeah, no, Sparks leaves the session. As we're about to go to the lights, as we come to 5 red lights here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go here. Kia gets off to a reasonably good start, but so does Zonix. Zonix is going to hold the lead as they head into turn 1. Banana is now looking for a go on Kizzy. The game goes 3 wide into turn 1. Kia gets hit. Kizzy nearly collects them too. They're all 3 wide at the back there. They're going 4 wide as we head down the field. Hudman now moves up into P7. As now Frosty is in P5 and putting under pressure is Alpha 3. He might go up the inside as Kizzy is getting attacked left, right and centre from Banana. Banana has just had a moment and now Frosty gets underneath him as they're heading down the hill. Frosty backs out of it, knows better than to go for a move at the S's as Sparks and Milan have dropped to the back, both disconnecting. So the Alfa Romeo is having an absolute mare as Frosty and Alpha 3 go side by side as I think Alpha 3 now might have disconnected. No, he didn't. He just unghosted now. And Hudman up into P6 will now look to go for a move on Frosty as Kizzy looming in P3, trying to put some pressure onto Kia. But Banana behind was putting some pressure on him at the start there. As now Hudman goes up the inside of Frosty. They touch. Frosty catches it. Hudman goes through though, and Frosty's off the track, and he's going to lose several positions. He drops down to P7, and he'll be shaking his head after that one. A bit aggressive there from Hudman. As now Frosty goes up the inside on Alpha 3. Will he get that move done? As Spicy in the background, potentially looking to get involved now. As into the final corner we go to finish lap 1. It's been quite chaotic as Frosty now goes up the inside of the final corner, and now he's going to get the slipstream all the way down the straight. Zonix has the fastest lap because he's the leader. And now as we enter the straight, here we go. Frosty is gaining and gaining and gaining on Alpha 3. And he's going to go up the inside into turn 1. Will he get the move done? He brakes later. And he gets to the apex first. And that'll be move done. As now Phoenix tries to go for it right around the outside of Alpha 3 at turn 2. Gets squeezed off. Alpha 3 gets a bad exit now. As Phoenix with the slipstream is going to try go up the inside. But Alpha 3 has insane straight line speed. And nearly catches back up to Frosty. And Phoenix is getting all held up behind him as Spicy has just made contact with a Broadstar as we head down the hill for the second time in this Grand Prix. What a first lap.
Yeah, I don't know how all the cars are still facing the right way. I think Alpha 3 is having a few lag issues here because Frosty's just going right through his car at the moment. He goes down the inside. That is such a bold attempt there from Frosty, and he manages to keep it out of trouble there, and now he just ducks into the slipstream to try and make his way through. But that 3 wide incident at turn 1 as Frosty still goes for it down the inside and he loses a place. Phoenix goes through on both of them, and now Spicy gets through on Frosty as well. So Frosty getting very over eager there, and it's cost him in the end. But Kia, Kizzy and Banana are going 3 wide into turn 1 has really allowed Zonix to run away with a 2.3 second lead at this stage. So it's been absolutely perfect start for him, and he's dominating at the moment. Yeah,
he's just gotten off to such a clean start, and I think he's just playing A conservative gamer Spicy comes into the pit lane, I assume for some form of wing damage. Wouldn't surprise me, as Sparks has gotten back into the lobby, but he hasn't got control of his car yet, and he's just bleeding lap time. He'll be praying for a safety car.
Yeah, unfortunate for a couple of the drivers who have missed out, but here goes Kizzy making a move on Kia into second, and he gets it done. And Banana is right in that contest as well. He's closing in on Kia, so Kizzy gets a great move done there on Kia to move into second place. And now he can start his chase of Zonix here. And we've seen a few great 3-car battles over the seasons in Bahrain at ORL. Hopefully these three can continue to put on a great show for us. And the DRS is going to help Kia here, but probably not enough. Kizzy's pulled a nice gap. And another 3-car battle's forming between Alpha 3, Phoenix, and Frosty, and Hudman's sort of caught in the middle of both of those.
Yeah, I think just a bit of a sandwich Hudman's in. He needs to close the gap to Banana to start getting involved, but he doesn't want to push too hard and fall into the clutches of Alpha 3 if he makes a mistake while pushing, so he's just in a bit of an interesting situation, but he's also out of battery.
Yeah, he's been burning hard. Hudman trying to catch up to that battle in front of him. Frosty getting really close to Phoenix here. Phoenix made his way through, but Alpha 3 got back in front of him. So Alpha 3's actually shown some pretty strong race pace compared to what we've usually seen from him. He's up into 6th. We go up to Kia, who closed in on Kizzy, but not close enough on that occasion.
Oh, dead 3 wide into turn 1. Alpha 3, Phoenix, and Frosty go wheel to wheel. As there we go, Frosty's been pushed off the track. Alpha 3 tries to hold it right around the outside, and he can't quite keep it. He has to cut across the gravel, and he rejoins onto the track. And now Frosty is going to go for a move on Phoenix for a move up into P6. He goes down the inside. Phoenix holds it right around the outside, gets the move done as Alpha 3 disconnects from the session, and Frosty ends out worst.
Yeah, and Kia made a fantastic move there on Kizzy there after the second DRS zone, so he's back up into second place. So that battle is forming quite nicely, and Banana is sitting behind waiting for his moment. And Kizzy is going to have a look to try and get Kia back here down this straight. He's looking towards the outside, trying to force Kia into a mistake there, can't quite do it. And now tries to go underneath him a little bit. But nothing doing at the moment. Kia with some solid defending, but Kizzy showing some great speed behind him, and he's going to get a great slipstream.
Oh no! There's contact between Frosty and Alpha 3! And that's Alpha 3 in the wall! That was a huge crash! It's a safety car deployed. Oh my god. At turn 12, I believe that is. Oh, that was a massive crash. Frosty just tried to go at the inside of Alpha 3 into flat out right-hander and hit his rear right, and they just went smashing into the wall at probably what would be around 200 k's an hour. If that was real life, that would have been a travesty.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Alpha 3 there. He's had a few internet issues throughout the race, so he's been very difficult to see in this race, but he did show some good pace off the start, so it's a shame that he's unfortunately out of the race. But now we see both the Haas drivers coming to the pits. Noah's going to get held up quite a bit here by his teammate, who's also getting a wing change. So hard tyres probably can go to the end of the race, but it would definitely take some looking after at this point.
Yeah, there's one person this does help is Sparks. He's been down the back and finally got control of his car again after rejoining. He's in P10 and is going to close up to the field. To his luck because of that safety car. He was a bit out of it until then. So he'll be now looking to create the charge that he was going to look to do from lap 1.
Yeah, so it's all equalised now after this safety car on lap 5. Zonix gets his lead reduced to Kizzy, so Kizzy will be happy to see Zonix nice and close to him, and now he has a chance to really go after him. Unfortunately, lost a fair bit of time off the start there. But yeah, going to put a little bit of pressure on Zonix. He's going to have to do a bit of work. And in the meantime, the big gainers in this race so far, Hudman's come up 5 places from 10th, so he's back in that mix as well. Broadstar and PS Bomber up 4 places. Firestrike up 6. Sparks obviously down 5, but he was lagged out off the start, so he's starting to make his recovery. and Milan's still not in the race yet. Hopefully he can get back in soon. But yeah, it's very evenly poised at the moment.
Yeah, it is. I think the one person this annoys is Frosty because he had a bit of a buffer. Now they're all close back up to him. So did he have to pace, or was it just because they were fighting, and now he might be drawn into all of that fighting, and he might get a bit screwed over?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Frosty now on the new hard tyres, so we'll see what kind of pace him and his teammate have. Hopefully they manage to stay out of each other's way. Milan's also back in the race, which is good to see, so now he can have an opportunity to make a charge for the win himself. He's down in 12th. But yeah, so going to be interesting to see. The safety car should come in after this lap, and we'll see if Zonix still has the superior pace to the other drivers, or if a challenger can potentially rise to him as well. Everyone seems to be lagging out of this lobby at the moment.
Yeah, I've been told there's a bit of desync from Sparks, but nobody else has said anything yet. But that's something to keep an eye on. Yeah, so PS1 has a penalty. Let's see what that penalty is. It's 3 seconds. So track limits, are they a problem here at Bahrain, do you think?
Generally haven't really been much of a problem here at Bahrain. So I think if you do end up picking a track limits penalty, it's going to hurt you a lot more than on most tracks, especially because of the how easy it is to stay within a driver's DRS. So you definitely, this is not a track where you want to be picking up a penalty for any reason.
Yeah, I think the only place track limits become a bit of an issue is the final corner, really, because you can just run a little bit wide. But even then, the curb, typically I found once you hit it, it kind of just stops you. It kind of just like hooks your front tires in, and then you don't go anywhere. So maybe final corner might be a bit of a problem, but I don't really think so. But anyway, let's get back to the racing. The safety car is in this lap, and Kizzy right behind Zonix. This is going to be an interesting restart as we'll look from the back of Zonix's rear wing.
Yeah, so he's coming around the final quarter. When is Zonic going to take off? He leaves it quite late, and he still hasn't gone yet. I think he might have deceived a couple of the drivers there, but Kizzy has a very good run here, so Zonix might not have made the wisest decision there. Now Kizzy can make a move around the outside for the lead of the race, and Zonix still tries to keep it in there, and he's been tapped from behind by Banana, who's also taps Kizzy, and now it's wheel to wheel between Banana and Zonix. Zonix gets through, and now tries to make another run on Kizzy for the lead here. Zonix on the inside. Does he have enough here? He's going to make a dive down the inside. It's close. They make contact. But Kizzy still manages to hold that position. Banana and Kia are also going wheel to wheel. And Zonix just slots in behind. And it looks like they've all settled the positions now. Kizzy takes the lead. An interesting restart by Zonix there has left him down in second place now.
Yeah, he went for a minute, and then he just tapped the brakes and lifted off, caught a few drivers out, and kind of hurt himself in the process. And meanwhile, Hudman goes up the inside of Kia into turn 10. What a move that was there from Hudman. That takes some bravery on the brake pedals, very much like Daniel Ricciardo back in his Red Bull days. As meanwhile, Zonix still trying to put the pressure onto Kizzy as Milan moves up into P11 past Frosty. Sparks moved up 2 positions on the restart and is now all over the back of Broadstar. I know they are friends, so let's see how these two fight. As Sparks just lagged back a little bit there. There is seemingly some lag in this lobby, as meanwhile Zonix going for a move, or at least looking to go for one on Kizzy as we enter the straight. I think there'll be a position swap here. Whether they decide to battle it, though, is another story. As in the slipstream, Zonix gaining and gaining and gaining. He's right underneath the rear wing. He pulls out to the outside. And it is going to be a fight as Zonix tries to outbrake Kizzy around the outside. They're still going wheel to wheel as they dart towards the apex. Banana also ran wide there in the background. And Zonix has pulled off a move that is very respectable to say the least. And nothing but respect between these two on the track, it seems.
Yeah, lovely move by Zonix. So he didn't have it done as Kia tries to make a move down the inside on Hudman there. Gets a little bit close. But yeah, Kia did fight that one through turn 1, but a better exit from Zonix allowed him to get through. Banana all over the back of Kia, and he tries to make something work. As
oh no, Phoenix has been tapped.
Inside. I saw some debris flying there from, I think it might have been Broadstar, was it? Who's lost a bit of front wing. No, it wasn't. I think it was Sparks, who has no front wing. So Sparks has been caught up in that one. And we move, there's a big battle in this midfield pack at the moment, but yeah, a bit of an incident there. I'm not sure if Sparks maybe just bumped the back of Broadstar there.
As just quickly, Call Me Keg trying to go around the outside of Frosty, now looks for a switchback as Milan still sitting in last as Sparks is getting overtaken here, there and everywhere. Disappointing for him. He now needs another safety car in this race and he will try to go hard to the end, I presume.
Yeah, so Milan has pitted onto those hard tyres now, so interesting to see. It's now a Red Bull 1 and 3, so Hudman has really found his groove in this race, and he's going to put the pressure on Kizzy. Kizzy in a very vulnerable spot at this moment in the race. He's weaving to try and defend from Hudman, and he's also gaining on Zonix. So let's see what he can do through here. And looks like they've sort of maintained the gap here. Kizzy will have the DRS open, but it's not going to be enough to chase down Zonix. And the gap's been maintained. Broadstar now coming after Phoenix down the inside. And Broadstar, has he made it? He's gone a little bit deep. Allows Phoenix back through. But it's... Oh, Phoenix just had to back out of that. Broadstar does get the move done. And elbows out from Broadstar. He gets into 6th place. And he's been showing some pretty good pace today as well.
Yeah, Phoenix had the move done and then just got a bit too eager on the throttle and just had a bit of a tank slapper there, and that's just hurt Phoenix a little bit and hurt him the position. But Broadstar defending really well. He clearly is displaying some pretty good racecraft here.
Yeah, good to see. Hudman now putting the pressure on Kizzy. The Red Bulls are looking very dangerous here in Bahrain at the moment. Kizzy, it might only be a matter of time before he has to give this one up. He's only barely staying within that DRS of Zonix, who's showing some incredible pace. It'll be interesting to see the pace between the two Red Bull teammates if Hudman is able to catch his teammate easily, and will there be much respect between them. But Kizzy will have the DRS now to hopefully try and defend from Hudman, who is running low on battery, but he's still going to be using everything in his arsenal. In the meantime, Frosty trying to make him a Broadstar. There's a big pack forming as Phoenix moves to the inside, and he gets past both of them there. And oh, Frosty's just turned straight into Broadstar. It's 3 wide into turn 1, and Phoenix just gets punted off, and Broadstar spun around by PS Bomber, and that was very dramatic there. And I'd say that was mainly the fault of Frosty, who just suddenly turned to move to the inside, but forgot that Broadstar was there, it seemed. And unfortunately, Broadstar loses out on that occasion.
So there we go. It all kicks off now, and I think this is where we might see it get a bit feisty as we move up the field and even down it as we move to the Alfa Romeos, who have just started to battle, which is really not what they want to be doing. I think they might just swap the positions once again, just over and over and over again, and pull each other along and maybe try go for a humongous undercut. But moving up the field now, will the leaders begin to battle a bit harder as we now reach lap 10 of the Grand Prix?
Yeah, with the pit stops coming up soon, it's going to be crucial for whichever driver comes out in front in that battle. But Kizzy's doing very well to hang on to Zonix at the moment. Zonix is able to manage his battery a lot better than Kizzy at the moment, who's using a lot of his pace and tyres just to try and hang on, because if he falls out of that DRS, he's going to fall straight into the hands of Hudman behind him. And Kizzy just hanging around that 9/10 to 1 second gap, but this DRS will bring him in a little bit. And we'll look a little bit further back because Banana is starting to pressurise Kia again. And it's been a good battle between these two all race long also. But I think a little bit too far back. It's starting to stabilise a little bit. PS Bomber comes into the pits. And Kizzy, how important is it for him to hang on to this 1 second gap? But he's just had a moment there that could cost him.
Yeah, Kizzy is under a lot of pressure here, and right now he is outside that 1 second range. And he is under threat from Hudman, and if Hudman does pass him, that hurts Kizzy even more, because Hudman has 0% battery. And until he gets to a braking zone, I had the telemetry up as we headed into turn 1. Hudman had no battery, so if Hudman gets past Kizzy, it could be game over without another safety car.
Yeah, so the pressure is on Kizzy. He's just hanging around. He's caught up a little bit on Zonix through there. If he can get back in that 1 second gap, otherwise he could fall into the hands of Hudman. He's gone very wide there as Kizzy. That is going to hurt him. Hudman now is going to be all over the back of Kizzy down this back straight and into turn 1. And Hudman using all that battery he can. He's desperate to try and make a way through on Kizzy. Probably has the slightly better pace from what we've seen so far. And now Kizzy, without that protection of DRS, Hudman is already gaining before the rear wing opens. And now Kizzy knows he doesn't have much at his disposal here. And Hudman is going to fly through into turn 1. And Kizzy breaks late around the outside. He tries to fight it. And he's forced Hudman a bit deep there. So Kizzy might have just architected this one brilliantly. He's going to have the DRS open here and try and put the pressure back on, but it doesn't look like he's close enough. So Kizzy probably did all he could there in that scenario, but unfortunately not enough.
Yep, so Kizzy now really needs to at least stay with Hudman, but right now I think we've missed something here. It's a Red Bull 1-2 right now.
Yeah, it's been fantastic by Hudman to make his way back through the field. And as I said before, it's going to be interesting to see how the Red Bull teammates handle this. If Hudman's got similar or better pace to Zonix, how hard are they going to fight each other is the big question.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen these two battle too hard on track, unlike Sparks when he was at Red Bull in the earlier stages of the season. Thinking back to Qatar, Zonix didn't back out to his teammate. It'll be interesting if we see a very similar situation today. And I think while fighting for the win, I don't think either of them are going to back out if it ends up in a situation of a battle.
Yeah, but Hudman hasn't been really gaining too much on Zonix, and Kizzy is still hanging around. So could Kizzy be able to get back past Hudman here down this main straight? He's looking pretty confident at the moment, but he's just dropped a little bit of time out of the final corner. It's going to hurt him. And not too many battles going on track besides this one. Phoenix is starting to chase Spicy down for 7th. But Kizzy now gaining, and he had a look down the inside, just trying to force Hudman into a defensive position and compromise that exit for the next straight here. But Kizzy has not had the greatest of exits out of turn 1 there, and he's going to have to wait another lap. But it looks like he's got the pace to contend for P2 here.
Yeah, but meanwhile, while these two fight, that allows Kia to close up, and same with Banana, and Frosty is also about to start putting the pressure on Banana, so that's another fight that's beginning to form. So on return here, Banana holding quite well stationed in P5. Will we see him go any further than that?
Yeah, it's the tyres for Kia, Banana, and Kizzy are going to start to hurt. That battle from the initial early laps of the race was definitely going to be damaging towards their tyres, and Frosty, with the newer rubber, is going to start to pick off these front runners in a moment as he chases Banana down. But yeah, Kia's been able to catch Kizzy and Hudman, as Hudman now pretty much running without any battery. And Kia has a lot more battery than both the drivers in front of him, so I think he's a very serious chance here of getting past both of them and leapfrogging into second, as there's a yellow flag at Sparks, who's going very slowly. I'm not sure if he had some sort of a moment there, but it looks like he's going again, just lost a couple places, and now down the main straight we go. And Kizzy is gaining massively. He's going to make a move into turn 1. He breaks late. He moves alongside him, and a little bit of contact. Hudman holds that inside line. Kizzy not going away though. Hudman tries to force him a bit wider. The DRS open, and this battle's going to continue towards turn 4, and it's going to be 3 wide as Kia comes around the outside as well. Hudman sandwiched a bit. He switches back on Kizzy, and very nicely done there by Hudman to hang on to that position. Kia putting the pressure on as well, but Hudman with a switchback. Fantastic driving there from all 3 of them.
Yeah, I honestly thought for a moment there that Kia had it sailing right around the outside, but he's Hudman just pulled it out where it mattered and had a little bit more grip to play with it. Maybe he's managed his tyres just that little bit better because he's only using his battery to hold the pace.
Yeah, it's been good to see. Here we go for round 2, though. Kizzy gaining massively, using that battery. He's desperate to make that overtake. Hudman's going to force him round the outside, but Kizzy makes that move before the corner, and he is now up into second place. But was that the right place to make the move? Because Hudman is very close, and we've got another DRS zone coming up very shortly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't think the timing of the overtake was particularly right, but as we're about to head onto the back straight, heading onto lap 15, so we've just about reached the halfway mark of this race, and Kizzy gets a bad exit now. Hudman with the slipstream. Kia will probably also get involved. No, they're diving into the pits.
Oh, Kia's hit his, Kizzy's got a 5-second. Kia's lost some wing. He bumped into the back of Hudman. So, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get that. Oh, he is going to get the wing replaced. That is lucky for Kia. But yeah, he did lose some wing there. That's going to cost him some time. But they all decided to pit on the same lap there. And Zonix pitted as well. So, interesting timing from all of them.
Yeah, I just... it looked like they were about to have a massive battle. And then I just see them all dive off to the right-hand side. I thought it was defense, but then I saw them dive into the pit lane. And that's definitely a spanner in the works for Kizzy there. Having a 5-second penalty. That hurts him a lot.
Yeah, it would have been from the pressure from behind that probably caused him to speed in the pit lane there. And now you can understand why Kizzy made the overtake where he did, because he knew that's he was going to be pitting at the end of the lap, so that's why he wanted to get in front.
Sorry, just quickly, Hudman is fighting side by side with Banana as they head down the hill. Hudman on, let's say, pretty cold tyres, as Banana on some older sets of tyres. It'll be interesting to see. Wait, no, Banana is on fresh tyres. How's Hudman ended up behind him?
The double stack.
Oh, yep. That makes sense. So this is...
yellow sparks off again, I think.
Yep, he's having a bit of a rough race back there. Maybe the injury not playing well for him. I wonder if it's spinning under braking or it's just getting back on the power. But Hudman now sitting behind Banana. I think this is going to be a fight to watch because this is for provisional, P4. So,
yep.
This fight will probably rage on for a little while, but we're about to enter the straight, and Hudman will have some DRS, so if he gets a good exit out of here, he might be able to get the move done, but as I say that, he has a massive wobble, and now heading onto the straight, he opens up the DRS, and he is gaining and gaining and gaining, but I don't think it's going to be enough to go for a move. No, he's nowhere close, as Spicy moves past Kia, so that's not something I thought I'd be muttering this race. But Kia, after replacing his wing, maybe not having a fun time of things. But nor is Hudman after the pits. So maybe the hard tyres not being as good for them as he thought, as Zonix is all over the back of Broadstar now. Hopefully he can just disperse of him well as Broadstar just pulls out of the way, lets him through. As they nearly make contact there, Zonix nearly misjudged the nose of Broadstar's car on the inside. But he does get through and will now move back to Kia, who's quite close behind the back of Spicy, but Spicy's on soft tyres. So that does explain Kia not being able to just get past him really easily.
Yeah, and I think you just got to let these hard tyres slowly work their way in this race as Hudman gaining on another. But interesting is Frosty, who pitted under the safety car, now has a 12-second gap to Zonix. He doesn't have to pit again in this race, but if and when a safety car probably comes out, because generally it's inevitable round here, Frosty's in the ideal position to get a good finish here. So his alternate strategy might be helping him quite well here.
Yeah, but I mean, we've already had one safety car. We don't have many drivers close together that would cause a massive crash that would cause a DNF. So honestly, we might not see one. It's just quickly Hudman going up the inside. Will he get this move done? Looks like it, but Banana, never mind, gets an amazing exit, holds a position, but now Hudman has another dose of the DRS as they head into turn 4, and he's going to dive it down the inside. Once again, Banana on the outside, and once again he just shoots off on the exit, but I think Hudman just closes the door and gets the move done. Hopefully that's the end of that for him, because that will hurt his race if they continue to fight.
Yeah, Banana being a bit of a source of frustration here for Hudman. He's drove a very strong race so far in that Williams, so good to see him performing well on his return. And he's not done with yet. He's still putting the pressure on as Sparks comes into the pits for the second time this race to put on some medium tyres, hoping that that can help turn his race around a little bit. And in the meantime, Banana is trying to gain on Hudman. Didn't quite have enough on this occasion. And Kizzy putting the pressure on Broadstar, but he is losing time to Zonix, who is pulling that gap and now slowly closing in on Frosty.
Yep, so Zonix.
Oh, Banana is making the move.
Oh yeah, Banana gonna go up the inside as they head into the final corner. Is that a smart move? Was he behind in the detection zone? I'm actually not sure. Let's see, who has the DRS? Hudman does, so Hudman is now gonna sail right back past. It shouldn't be too much of a fight. He should be clear into turn 1. He's just gonna close the door off. There we go. So that's the move done for Hudman, and now he has a whole lap to try get a gap. Or actually, might not because of the DRS down here. So let's see what Banana can do. I don't think he's close enough. No, he isn't. So Hudman now has a lap from here to try gain as much time as he possibly can. As meanwhile, Kizzy only half a second behind Broadstar now. So he is well within move range. But he has a 5-second time penalty. So right now, he's sitting, I think, all the way down where Spicy is after penalties.
Yeah, he's getting held up by Broadstar because Hudman's slowly bringing that gap in. So he's going to want to make this move right here, otherwise he could be in trouble, and he's got a good exit here, so should be able to get it done. He's going to look to move around the outside. Broadstar not going to make it easy for him, but that's the second time that Kizzy sailed around the outside at that corner, and he likes making a move around that corner, does Kizzy, and up into third place, but unfortunately, that penalty has pegged him down a couple.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be a burden over the rest of his race. He'll be pushing and pushing, but he will obviously have that mental in the back of his head. He has a 5-second anyway, so it all depends on how he can manage that gap. And with how close the pace is, I don't know if he has much of a chance here.
Yeah, as Broadstar comes into the pits, so Hudman doesn't have to make that overtake, but in the meantime, Banana are coming back at Hudman, and it's into 4th place he goes here. Hudman going to fight it back around the outside, and he's giving it a good effort. Banana makes sure to cut him off there, but Hudman's going to get the DRS back here and try and get in front once again. Banana has more battery in the tank than Hudman, and Hudman goes to the inside. Banana trying to hang it out, can't do it. But Hudman will be still getting frustrated that he can't clear this Williams at the moment, who's still putting pressure on him.
Yeah, I think Hudman will sit there and realise this is probably his race to fight now. I think Banana has quite similar pace to him, and they're both on similar-ish battery, but Banana just with the DRS making the most of it and just continuing this fight, and I think this will go for the next 10 laps till the end of this race.
Yeah, it's good to see the battle between these two, as Kia, I think, has gotten back past Spicy, as the hard tyres have fired up and the soft tyres starting to fall away a little bit. This is now Frosty's safety car window, so any time in the next 3 laps, if there's a safety car that comes out, Frosty's probably in the best position. If a safety car doesn't come out, he still looks like he's going to do pretty well, potentially still a podium finish for him. But if he wants to compete for that win, he needs a safety car in the next lap or 2. But Banana are now down the main straight once again. Has more battery than Hudman does. Hudman has absolutely nothing left. And Banana sails past. Hudman needs to probably start managing that battery better. Find a better place to make an overtake, because he's not able to pull away from the Williams as much as he'd like. And he had a bit of a moment out of turn 1 there that could hurt him. He's still going to try and get back past the Williams here. Is he going to be close enough? No, he's not. Banana holds on to the place, and he's driving very maturely here at the moment. Can he keep it up?
I think he can. I think we've now gotten to that phase in the race where everybody is used to the tyre they're on and what their car feels like, and I think this battle, as I said before, is going to rage till the end of the race, and Banana is just placing the car in such a perfect spot, and it must be so frustrating for Hudman, especially considering they're both on super low battery, so it's just all the more hurt, because Banana just has that little bit more, and it's just enough to hold station.
Yeah, and this is allowing Kia to come back as well. He's brought the gap into about 2.4 seconds. He was a fair way back beforehand, so Kia is going to be able to join this battle. Hudman is still trying to chase, and he should be able to get back past him to turn 1. In the meantime, Zonix has closed that gap to Frosty to about 3 seconds, so that lead is about to disappear for Frosty in a couple laps' time. Banana are just 1.3 seconds away from Kizzy as well, so he's starting to gain and running low on battery now as Hudman is going to put the pressure on. He defends, and Hudman looks down the inside, just has a glance, doesn't fully commit to the move there. And in the end, that's probably cost him a little bit of time. And Kizzy's gone off the track here, so Banana has now a chance to potentially make a move. And Kizzy now struggling as Hudman broke late. Nearly
Kizzy!
Kizzy off into the wall and out of the race.
And that's a safety car.
A safety car.
Frosty has just been helped massively, but what happened there? Did Kizzy's wheel disconnect?
I don't know. He just
drove straight
on there.
It just looked like he turned into the corner and then he just stopped turning. If I was on board with him, I'd know if his wheel disconnected. That was such an odd accident.
Yeah, he was mid-quarter there, but yeah, as I said, the safety car window for Frosty, everyone is probably going to come in and pit for softs now. So Frosty should have the lead of the race now.
Yeah, this is an interesting turn of events as Sparks nearly about to get lapped there if you think about it. Like, if the safety car came out a bit later, he could be getting lapped after he pits. Luckily, he comes out on the back straight and he should gain again. This might help him make another charge at trying to have a good result in this race. But yeah, where's Frosty going to come out, and will everyone pit like we think they will? I think it's the only choice. I think pitting for softs is the best choice.
Frosty's got that gap, which means he's going to come out right behind anyone that decides to stay out. So what'll be most interesting is Banana, Hudman, and Kia. I think they're all aiming for that pit lane. Yes, they are. So everyone's going to pit here, and I assume Spicy will as well, because those soft tyres will be hurting. And yeah, he does. So yeah, everyone is now going to have to pit for the soft tyres, and it's game on. It's all even. Frosty now has the lead of the race. As I said, that strategy, the alternate strategy, is going to help him. And the question is, will he be able to hang on? Zonix has some fantastic pace, so he might struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is truly game on, and we see a new leader in this race after what feels like, well, an official new leader of this race, as Sparks gets a drive-through, and that is pretty much the nail in the coffin of his race, unless there's another safety car after this one. But, Frosty, it's definitely interesting. It all depends on the wings he's running. Some weeks he runs some very terrorist-looking wings, and nobody can overtake him in a straight line. Yes,
unfortunately for Sparks, just one of those days for him, getting a drive-through penalty. But yeah, we've seen 2 races in ORL come right down to the line, so I wonder if we're going to see anything like that today. And all it takes, Banana is in 3rd place. All it takes is just one little mistake by Zonix, and it could allow a bunch of drivers through behind. Broadstar's back up into 5th, a little bit older soft tyres, but he's back in this game as well. And yeah, it's a big shame for Kizzy, 2nd in the championship, but now Hudman has a big chance to improve his championship lead now.
Yeah. This is big. This is big for the championship. If Hudman can get a good race and just really round it out, get up at least into the podium, this is truly going to shape a new story in this championship that might begin to unfold.
Yep, so it's all going to come down to this safety car restart. And yeah, big moment in this race. And Milan, 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. So not the day for the Alfa Romeos today.
Painfully so.
But yeah, we'll have probably one more lap of safety car, then we'll get back underway.
Yep, I'd like to hope so, because we do want to see a decent amount of racing here, and if the safety car comes in at the end of this lap, we'll have effectively what is a 5-lapper till the end.
Yeah, it's very good to see. It'll be really testing the driver's racecraft. Hopefully, these sprints to the end, they can get quite dramatic. Hopefully, the drivers are mature about it and give each other the racing respect. But as we know, it doesn't always pan out that way.
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of these across this season and last season, where it either goes perfectly, and let's face it, it normally ends up on the TikTok, or it goes to an absolute disaster, and we never speak of it again. So we'll see which one it is this time. But with Frosty in the lead, Zonix in P2, this is definitely going to be one to watch. I think this is going to be very similar to, say, Singapore.
And Bernardo's just messaged mid-race. He's in third place. He's just said, "Can I reserve Div 1 also?" So he's got a bit of confidence about him.
I think he's got his priorities straight. You know, don't focus on the race you might potentially win. You know, tier 1. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing very well for his return.
Yeah. With Kizzy out of the race and Sparks down in 12th, Hudman has no one who's really... His championship lead can only extend at the moment, and DXman's not even in the race in 4th, so as long as Hudman finishes the race in the top 10, he's going to be making some gains here. Zonix will be making gains as well if he can end up winning this race. And will the safety car be in this lap? Depends if Firestrike and Keg can make it. I don't think they're going to, though.
Oh, it is a very late call.
That is the latest call of all time.
So this puts everyone under a lot of pressure now. Frosty, when is he going to go? And will he catch Zonix napping a little bit? He's going to go now. He puts on the battery, and he does put Zonix in the wind, and he's got a 6/10 advantage. An amazing restart for him now. Banana in the slipstream of Zonix. He is gaining a little bit, but not quite enough to go for a move into turn 1. Meanwhile, Hudman sitting back and just watching the carnage unfold as Kia nearly went for a move down the inside of Broadstar there. Phoenix and Kia are now wheel to wheel as Phoenix loses out. Spicy and PA sitting back and watching it all unfold in front of him as the Alfa Romeos are in P10 and P11. A day to forget for them, now moving back up the field for P4. Here we go, Hudman versus Banana as we head down the hill on the lap of the safety car restart. How will this unfold? This battle for the lead is already on. Zonix all up behind Frosty. These two have been teammates in the past. In, I believe it was last season. And now it's all to play for between these two. So, this is the fight to watch for.
Yeah, Zonix getting very close to Frosty, and considering how late the safety car call was, I think Frosty took that restart extremely well, timed it to perfection, but it might not mean much in a moment because Zonix has that pace. How hard is Frosty going to defend this here as Zonix moves to the inside, not wasting any time here, and he goes wheel to wheel with Frosty, gets in front. Frosty lets him pass, but he has got now the main straight to try and make his way back through on Zonix, and I think he's going to be able to. He pulls out of the slipstream, but just not gaining enough. He has to duck back in for a second time. Is he going to make a move here again? Is Frosty... He puts the car in there. He's going to force him wide. Frosty and Zonix has dealt with that extremely well. Frosty not fighting him too hard. I think just mainly worried about position, but here he comes again. Frosty, is he going to try and go for it down there? And now Banana is sensing an opportunity. Hudman going wheel to wheel with Banana as well. And now has he gotten in front? They're banged wheels and Banana stays in front. Zonix takes the lead of the race, and I don't think anyone's going to be able to challenge him. It's turned into a big 4-car battle here up the front, but Zonix looks to be running away with it now.
Yeah, I think Zonix might have just put it in the rearview mirror now, and he's just going to look in front of him and try pull away and get this win calmly, but this is where mistakes can happen. 4 laps until the end, and it's still anything to play for, at least for this P2 down to P4. And with Zonix leading the way, it's anything possible, as that is, I believe, Milan.
Sparks.
No, it's Sparks.
In the wall.
In the wall. And oh, it's a safety car!
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh my god, it's a safety car.
Sparks lost his whole wing there. He crashed into the wall. That is a very, very late safety car. Probably the last lap that the safety car could be called in this race. But, and Noah's got to drive through. But, Zonix his work is not done yet. I thought that he was safe and he could just cruise home to the end. But now he's got to deal with some pressure. Does anyone pit for even fresher soft tyres? I don't imagine they will. Yeah, they all stay out, but now he had a 1 second gap. It's going to be reduced here. He really needs to nail this restart Zonix, because if he doesn't and Frosty gets through, then he doesn't have a lot of time left to get back through.
Yeah, I think that Frosty really has to get him into turn 1, and because we're going to have no DRS till the end, then pray he can just hold the position. But I think this is the one race where I've seen Frosty have slower straight line speed than everyone. Frosty struggled to hit 300 k's an hour before the line, whereas Zonix was just at it. Zonix was at 310 k's an hour before, a lot before Frosty, and that really made his move a lot harder. So Zonix clearly just managing well and just has the best pace out of anyone. This is, I think, going to be his day.
Sparks retires. I think he crashed there. He didn't retire in the pit lane. So, race over for Sparks, unfortunately, who's had an absolute nightmare of a race. He'll be thankful that one's over, and I think he'll just be trying to forget what has happened tonight here in Bahrain. But, yeah, we saw Frosty when he was trying to slipstream Zonix on that last lap. He just wasn't able to get enough to catapult him past. So he's going to need something special here. But Zonix did mess up that last race start, so the pressure is going to be on him to nail this one.
Yeah, this is truly game on and a test to what he can do on the restarts. This is going to be very much like a Singapore situation now.
Yeah, it's a battle between the top 5 here. I think probably the only drivers that can take home a win here. And we will have probably the safety car in, or all the drivers are caught up, so hopefully it just comes in straight away, but it might have to stay out another lap, I think. Yeah, it will.
Oh, that is frustrating. Unless it makes another late call, but considering everybody's there, it's not going to make a late call.
Yeah, but if I was, Spicy Fire Strike, call me Keg. If they have any fresher soft tyres available, now would be the time to pit for them. But I don't think they have, so they've all stayed out because 5-lap-old softs already have had quite a bit of wear on them. So if you manage to get onto some new ones now, then you'll have way more pace than everyone else.
Yeah, I think this is who saved tyres in qualifying, and I don't think anyone did.
Yep, so it'll be in at the end of this lap, and we'll get just the 2 laps of racing for the end. So it's going to be all about whether Zonix has definitely had the best pace all race long, but whether Frosty can manufacture a way past. It's not going to be about pure pace in these last 2 laps. It's going to be about the racecraft, defending ability, and who's gonna come out on top in that battle. And there could still be a few incidents to come that could completely flip the order as well.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna be just it's all or nothing here. Who is gonna be the bravest on this restart? I think my bets are on Zonix, but I think Frosty is likely to at least try force the issue. It's only 2 laps to the end, so you don't want to be leading onto lap 29 unless you're Zonix, because Zonix has better straight line speed and he's demonstrated that, so he should be able to hold the position. But if I'm sitting in Frosty's situation with less straight line speed, I really wouldn't want to be leading coming onto lap 29, but it also might be his only sort of option.
Yeah, I think it's going to be his only option is Frosty, because if he doesn't make the overtake down the main straight, I think it's going to be actually his only chance to get past Frosty if is down the main straight, because Zonix will gain that much time. As we've seen, the safety car is going to be in this lap. It's all down to Frosty. It's all in his hands. Oh, sorry, to Zonix. All in his hands, the restart. We saw He didn't get it right before.
Oh, there's... Oh, no!
Then stopped.
There's a wing off at the back.
Oh, no. It might be probably one of the Aston Martins or something, but here we go. Zonix leaves it late again. He goes. He's caught Frosty out, and Frosty's now going to fall into the grasp of Banana behind potentially. But that's a great restart from Zonix, and has that almost sealed the fate of this race. Hudman is looking down the inside of Banana. Is he going to go for it?
Oh no, Milan has just gone bowling!
He's been tapped from behind. I'm not sure who it was. But, yep, Hudman is now around and tumbling down the order, and that is going to spice up this championship battle. And we look up the front. There's plenty of jockeying going on. Hudman and Broadstar again as well, going wheel to wheel, and it looks like, oh my goodness, what has happened here? He's still going for it, and now he's wheel to wheel with Spicy, and he gets back up into 7th, and oh, he switches back on Milan, who's gone off the track, so Hudman has gained about 3 places there. Down the inside goes Spicy on Broadstar. They go wheel to wheel, Spicy up into 7th, and we look up to the front. Banana is chasing down Frosty. I think Zonix has got this one though.
Yep, I think Zonix does have it, so now we move to the battle for P2, Banana versus Frosty. It's still all to play for as we're going to head onto lap 29. It's one of the Aston's Fire Strikers spun in the back, so we're about to head onto the final lap of this Grand Prix. Zonix looks to have it for the moment. Chaos still lurking in the background in P4, as now Spicy is also spun around, so both Astons find themselves out of the points. Milan was the culprit of who went bowling at turn 1. And he caused a bit of carnage over the course of that lap 28. So, now as we head onto the back straight, heading onto the final lap of the Bahrain Grand Prix, Zonix sets the fast lap of the race. Banana is now burning all of his battery on his return here. Will he go up the inside of Frosty into turn 1? No, he stays behind him, and he'll try go for a move into turn 4 instead, as he has to get a good exit here, and he doesn't particularly get one. So, battery now enabled, but no DRS, as we have only had 2 laps of racing here. As heading into turn 4, no moves can be made by Banana. There's more carnage at the back. Milan had another incident seemingly with Call Me Keg, as Banana only has 2 more chances here. Into turn 10 and down the mini straight into turn 11, as he gets a bad exit on the run to turn 10, so that closes that off. So he has to get an amazing run through turn 10 now. He's had a bit of trouble with traction all race, and I don't think he's going to be able to get it, and I don't think Kia will be able to get it on Banana either. But still, we'll keep looking to this battle. It is the closest one up and down the field that means the most. Banana is 3.5 tenths behind, and I don't think he's going to be able to get anything done here. As we'll move to the front, we'll move to Zonix. He has had an absolutely dominant race. He's been leading pretty much from start to finish with no worries in his way. Noah retires from the session, but Zonix rounds the final corner. He's out of battery. He's going to take the win in the desert, and he has won the Bahrain Grand Prix in a dominant display, winning by 2.8 seconds with only 2 laps to go when the safety car came in. Frosty comes home P2, Banana comes home P3, Kia P4, Hudman, after being tapped around and spun, still gets P5, Phoenix P6, Broadstar P7, P8 to PS1, Spicy gets some points. Milan will pick up P10 on track, but moves down the field, and I assume he has more penalties coming his way from the turn 1 incident, as Call Me Keg is now going to be the last driver to cross the line with 10 seconds worth of time penalties to pick up P12. What a race that was, and congratulations to Zonix.
Yeah, absolutely brilliantly controlled by Zonix all race long today. And that was another one of his dominant performances. We've seen him do it a couple times this season. And yeah, he is on an absolute roll now in Division 2. And he is going to be making significant gains on the championship now. If I'm doing some quick maths, he's now at 20 points off his teammate in Hudman, and that win's going to move him up to 4th in the championship as well.
Yep, so Zonix potentially looking to make a late charge in the championship, potentially, do you reckon?
Oh yeah, he's found some incredible form. Just looking at his last few races, he's scored. He's had a win, a 3rd place, 5th, and 4th, and now another win. So He's on an absolute roll, is Zonix, and his teammate should be watching his back a little bit because Zonix is going to be coming home like a freight train at the end of this season.
Yeah, so Zonix with the Grand Slam, getting pole fastest lap and winning the race with a 31.5 fastest lap. And that was a dominant display, so 26 points coming home for him. And now Frosty P2, Banana P3, Kia P4, Hudman gets P5, Phoenix gets P6, Broadstar P7, PS Bomber P8, Spicy P9, Firestrike P10, Milan P11, Call Me Keg P12, Noah P13, and then the rest are DNF. So we'll now move on to the interview. So we do need to move into a VC in the server, J-Man.
Copy that.
Just trying to get everyone in. Just waiting on the winner. Alright, so I think we've got everyone in here now. Well, yes, we do. J-Man, do you want to start off with P3?
Yeah, Banana, congratulations on third place on your return to Div 2. You looked, you didn't look out of place at all today. It looked like you hadn't missed any time at all. So congratulations, and talk us through your race today.
Don't think
We got you
there? Can't hear him.
Mic's not working.
Okay, so I guess we can move to Frosty for P2 if you want, J-Man.
Yeah, right. Well, Frosty, well done today, mate. And that strategy call under the safety car seemed to work wonders for you today.
Yeah, I mean, like, I got pretty lucky because, you know, what's that dude's name? Alpha 3. Like, he's like a rapist. So, he, like, put me in. So, I think I put us in the wall, and I was, like, shit scared I was gonna get, I was gonna lose, like, my front wheel or something. But I didn't. So, I pit for hards. And then Zonix caught up to me, and I was on, like, 45%. And I started praying. I started yelling out to Jesus. And then, Kizzy, because he's washed and bad, he crashed. And, yeah, that gave me the safety car, which made me box for softs. And then Zonix was in the call with me, and he was like, "Oh, you know I'm faster than you, just let me pass." So I let him pass. And then I had Bernarda, like, sniffing my bum cheeks the whole time. But I defended well, because Jesus Christ is on my side.
Yeah, no, it definitely was today. That was a very, very well driven as well. So you got to give yourself a little bit of credit, and hopefully you can reignite a bit of a spark there and move yourself up the championship order as well.
Probably not, but we'll see. Jesus Christ, as my witness, knows. I'm skilled.
Yeah, thank you very much, Frosty, and Lindsay. I'll hand it over to you to.
Love you,
Love you too, and we'll hand it over to Lindsay to interview the race winner today.
I don't know particularly if you had to top that interview. That was pretty top class. But Zonix picking up the P1, mate. That was super dominant. Can you just walk us through your race for a start?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good race. I just had the superior pace throughout the race. Every tires, I just thought I was pulling, so I just played the simple strategy and it worked out.
Yeah, so did you ever think at one point in the race that you might have been under some pressure, or were you pretty certain you had it?
Well, after the first 4 laps, I was pretty certain if I didn't, mess up my strategy or bin it, I was gonna definitely get a podium, hopefully the win. But yeah, I felt pretty confident through the whole race.
Yeah, so you had some confidence behind you. That's good to hear. On that last safety car restart, obviously we now know you're in a call, but were you thinking that Frosty might do anything stupid by any chance?
Well, I mean, it's Frosty. You never know what's going to happen. I hope he didn't do anything stupid, and he didn't. So that was good. Just pulled away at the end, fastest lap. That was nice as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations, J-Man. Do you have any questions for him or?
Nothing in particular. It's just fantastic, well-controlled performance, and that's the second time we've seen you just absolutely dominate a race. We saw it a few weeks back in Mexico as well. So you're making a knack of doing it now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that result with Sparks and Gizzy out, and my teammate Hudman unluckily only P5 or P6 wherever he finished. So I think that's going to shoot me up into the championship fight, which is exactly what I wanted from this race. So pretty happy.
Yeah, fantastic stuff, and I believe that's about all we have, Lindsay.
Yep, so that is all we have here for
Can I say something?
Oh,
Please.
sure.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
No.
Okay, 1, Zonix. That's really, really mean. I would never do anything stupid. And 2, if Alpha 3 is listening, lick my balls, you fat don. She told me to slit my wrist. And you have literally no bitches. Your dick is a vagina.
Okay,